Welcome to the D&D Morning Show. How was that?
I told Drew to intro the show and be spunky.
Is that spunky?
I told him he's too serious. And when he intros the show, it's like serious radio Drew.
Was that spunky?
It was pretty spunky.
Dorothy's spunky's like way up here though, so it's pretty difficult for like the average person, which I would call myself, to be spunky.
I don't know, it just comes naturally to me. I don't get it. I have to be like, okay, Drew, a little bit more spunk.
Alright, so that's what you get when you ask for more spunk. Be careful what you ask for. Alright, what do we got going on today?
We're going to start off with a fun fact about Drew today and his high expectations in the service, with the service industry in particular. And then we're going to have a new cereal recipe. Or before that, I did not do the right order there. Before we do the recipe,
It's a little early for Dorothy this morning.
before we do the recipe, we're going to talk about Princess Diana. It's been recently her 20th anniversary since she passed away. So Drew and I did a little bit of looking into her life or research. So we're going to share some things that we found out about her that have been super neat. And then we'll do the recipe. It's a pina colada breakfast cereal.
That's right.
Mm-hmm.
And then we'll end off with the quote.
With the quote, yeah.
All
That's
right.
what we got going on.
Spunky.
Spunky.
You might have to speak up a bit,
Not
Dorothy.
so spunky.
I'm very spunky. All right,
Serious.
let's go. What do we got? Fun fact. Let them know.
Let them know. When we go to restaurant, can I tell them about the most recent story?
Yes.
About, okay, that'll explain it a little bit better. So we go to the restaurant and,
Look at the camera. Talk to the camera.
okay, I don't know how to like tell this story. Can you tell it a little bit?
Okay.
Okay.
So we're at this restaurant, and I kind of feel like if you're going somewhere to pay for food, you're paying for service, you're paying for experience. Like, I wouldn't say that we go out very often.
No, not often at all.
And when we are at home, we cook good food, good quality food. It's fresh, it tastes good, it's healthy. So when we go out to a restaurant, my expectations are a bit higher because I'm paying someone else to do that. So I do expect a little bit more. And service is also something, because as a business I feel like we offer good quality customer service. We put that at the top of our list. So I kind of have higher expectations in all those regards, which doesn't exactly give everyone a whole lot, much of a chance.
You know how Drew says, like, my spunkiness is the next level? Drew's expectations are the next level. More than the average person.
Well, this one in particular, so we get there and the table's dirty. And I feel like right from the get-go, you're kind of starting out negatively.
Yes.
You know, because you have to ask, like, could you clean this table? When you shouldn't have to ask when you get there, it should be clean. And I don't think you should have to ask. You know, so right from the get-go, it's like, oh, she probably thinks like we're those people, and we are those people. So like, oh no, she knows already. So that was the first thing. Shall I carry on?
Yes, carry on.
And then the next thing was, like she asked us what we were gonna have, and we were just hanging out having some appetizers. It was more of the experience that we wanted to sit and enjoy at this particular establishment. So then we asked, so the next thing, we were just hanging out, then the next thing we asked for was like a little dessert at the end. And that's all we really came there for, is a little appetizer, a little dessert, hang out, have some laughs, and then move on. And then so the dessert didn't come, like it didn't come. I said, where's the dessert? And it was like 20 minutes, 25 minutes, and it was...
And when Drew asked about it, oh, it's being made right now, so we think it's coming out, and then we waited like 10 more minutes.
Right. So 10 more minutes, and then she says, oh yeah, sorry, it's on its way. And I was like, well, and I said it politely. I said, we actually need to get going, so if it's not coming right now, we'll just cancel it. And she's like, okay, and then she brings it right away. So it was ready, she just didn't bring it. So we had to ask twice, and it was probably about 35, 40 minutes after we were ready to have it.
Yes.
So it's quite a while, and it was that also kind of bugged me a bit because it was ready, and it wasn't brought, and it was already late.
Yeah.
So then we brought it, and it was like this. It was like an ice cream type of sundae-ish dessert. So they bring it, and it's soupy.
Yeah. Yes. That's the best way to describe it.
So it was like half melted, so it must have been sitting there for a while. And then I looked at it, and I was kind of excited. I was like, oh, we don't have these like little treats very often. So I was excited to like have this little treat, and that's kind of why we went there. And it was half melted, and it was 40 minutes late.
Yeah.
So we were like super disappointed.
You know what I think like irked you was that she just didn't come out and say, sorry guys, I forgot. Like, I'll get you a new one, or I'll fix it, or it was just like no acknowledgement that she even forgot. It was just like, it's coming, oh, it's coming, you're next. Like,
and there wasn't like a jam-packed restaurant. There's only a few people there.
Yeah.
So, anyways, so that's basically it. And then it came, and it was like this soupy kind of. We had a couple bites, and I was like, if I'm going to have this unhealthy treat that we have very seldom. You know, it should taste good.
Yeah.
But it was like drippy and soupy, so we took a couple bites, and I was like, Dorothy, we're not gonna eat this.
No.
So I felt bad for Dorothy because she was in the same, but we were excited to be there.
Yeah.
And then she like just wanted to eat it and get through it, and I was like, we can't do it. I was like, we're sending them back.
Yeah. So then, after asking to have the table wiped, and then the whole ordeal with the sundae, then he sends it back.
And I felt bad for her because maybe it wasn't her fault. And I know that sometimes, I know my standards are quite a bit higher. And I also think that in other situations, most people would have sat there and not said anything. Mm-hmm. And then most people would have ate it and not said anything.
Yeah.
So again, you have to go back to where those people. But I'm not, like I said, I'm going out and I'm paying for these services and quality and food. And I didn't want to pay for it.
Yeah.
Like I don't want that.
But what's funny is sometimes I sit there and I'm like, oh no, what's he gonna say? What's he gonna say now? Oh no, don't embarrass me.
Yeah. But I'm not like that all the time.
No.
I don't think.
No, not all the time. And when he is like that, it's usually legit. It's just I'm the person that would sit there and not say anything. So to me, it's like a big deal.
Yeah. So anyway, she came by, and she kind of walked by like quickly, and she looked at me, and I said, this isn't. This cracked Dorothy up. I said, it's not really ice cream. It's more like soup. I said, we don't want it. I didn't say I didn't want to pay for it because I was actually expecting to pay for it. Like I didn't care. I just really wanted to get out of there at that point. So I just said, it's not even ice cream. I was like, it's soup. And then she kind of looked at it and then like walked away quickly. And I said, like, we're done here.
We'll have our bill.
Yeah. So she kind of looked at it and like didn't know what to do or say. So she just came and brought the bill, and she said, I took it off the bill, and we left. Mm-hmm. So, well, why don't you mention briefly about how monotone I am? Or like no emotion, people say.
Some people, they don't know how to take Drew is because he's so like emotionless when he talks. So they're like, is he mad? Is he upset? Like, what's going on here? Like, they can't read him. But I've known Drew for so long that I can read him. And so I think that she thought that he was like angry or upset, but he wasn't at all. But she was like almost like skittish, like he's mad, but I think that's funny is because he's so, I say flat, I don't know if that's the right word, but just so flat.
Flattering. Thank you.
But not like me, you can tell what emotional state I'm in.
Emotional state. Well, you know, the thing is, I wasn't mad. Like, I wasn't angry.
No.
I was like a bit frustrated. I was disappointed in the situation. I wasn't mad at her in particular. I was just like didn't enjoy the whole situation because I felt like I was put in an uncomfortable position where I had to say something.
Yeah.
Because that wasn't good enough for me. Like, it wasn't good enough to just sit there and eat it. So I just told her, I said, this isn't really, I'm not going to eat it. That's all I said. Mm-hmm. So, and I think in other situations, people would be like verbally or like emotionally, physically upset. Like, I'm not going to eat this. This is crap. And I just said, like, we're not going to eat this. Just can we get out of here? Because this whole experience has been Yeah. So that's our story, and that's a little fun fact of my issues.
Your expectations.
Issues around expectations.
So let's get into our story about Princess Diana. It all started when Drew and I were at the grocery store and we saw a couple feature magazines of Princess Diana, being that at this time it's the 20th anniversary of her passing away. And Drew and I both thought, wouldn't it be cool if we looked into her life and tried to find out some fitness and nutrition things about her. And it was unreal, like what we found, because we found some close connections, a few close connections between how we teach and how we live and how she did 20 some years ago or more. So
yeah, it was interesting because you learn more about nutrition. Like we feel like you're always evolving, you're always learning, and years ago people do some of the things that we're just learning about,
right,
or teaching others about. So one of the cool ones is lemon water, like just hot water and lemon, for example.
Yeah, she had that every morning, it said, right? Then the research that we've done in the articles we read, she would have the lemon and hot water, which is very alkalizing, and that's something we always suggest to people starting out, right?
Yeah, so we want an alkalized body state. So instead of acidic, like unfortunately we look at, that's one of the reasons we haven't brought it, we haven't brought it up in the past, but like coffee, for example, that puts our body in an acidic state, and that people get like so upset when you say we don't exactly recommend coffee. But that's another reason we want our body to be alkaline. So if our body's alkaline, it's more neutral. So you have acidic, which makes our body probably a bit weaker. It's harder to fight off bugs and little diseases that come up and negatively affect our health. So we thought that was a cool fact, that's something that she did on a regular basis. Those morning routines, like those morning routines that we talk about, how important they are. Like she had that every morning. And then what else?
We found out she was a juicer, or was into juicing. So she had her favorite recipe that had some cucumber and some carrots in it, so she would have juices, and we're big into smoothies.
Right, green smoothies in the morning. So we thought that was neat and a nice, I guess, commonality. Is that a word? Commonality?
Yeah.
I suppose it was surprising. We put together a blog post, so you're either watching this video in the blog post, or you will be, like we can direct you towards the write-up, but one of the things that when we were writing the blog post, we're like, wow, there's so many things that we have in common that she was doing.
Right.
So that juicing, for example, she believed in detoxing and how that juice, that organically as well. She was big into organic fruits and vegetables, and how those juices would help detox her liver. So she was also into detoxing, which is something else that we
like
that we talk about as well.
Yeah.
And then that was it. Oh, you wanted to talk about, she had a couple recipes that she really enjoyed.
Yeah, well, one of the recipes that I think, I'm not sure, Drew, if you know either, but it was written by her chef.
It was her chef who was actually quoted from one of these magazines that we were reading.
Okay, but he was saying her favorite breakfast was potatoes, egg whites, and paprika. And Drew and I are sitting there, we're trying to picture like how this dish would look. Drew pictured it as roasted potatoes with some fried egg yolks in there.
I was like, how do you eat that?
And so I said, I don't picture it that way. I picture it as egg salad. So, you know, the roasted potatoes with some boiled egg whites in there and some paprika. So I'm not quite sure how you guys at home would picture how this meal would look, but that was her favorite breakfast, was potatoes, egg whites, and paprika.
So Dorothy's makes a little bit more sense than mine. And I was like, how would he put that together? But he didn't really explain. This is her personal chef that was quoted saying some of these recipes that he prepared for her.
Yeah.
Some of the things that she stayed away from was, she wasn't a big meat eater.
Right.
So she stayed away from red meat and didn't eat much pork, for example. But they said that when she would have, I don't know, I guess Clint Eastwood they were close friends.
Oh, okay.
I guess they quoted him a couple times, or not quoted him, but mentioned his name. Like if he would come over and want something like that, then she'd have the chef make it. But on a regular basis, she stayed away from those types of meats.
And did it say, I can't remember anything like refined sugar, processed foods at all?
Not really.
Not really.
They did mention stuffed peppers was another one.
Oh, that was another one of her favorite, I guess, things to eat was stuffed peppers, which I thought was super cool because we actually enjoy stuffed peppers ourselves, and we have a vegetarian stuffed peppers recipe in our blog. So that was a nice connection as well.
Yep. And then, so fitness-wise, running was a big one for her.
Mm-hmm.
She enjoyed running in the morning. It's kind of funny. When reading up on it, she would run in, I don't know exactly how to explain it. She had all this land in England where their property was, so I could picture her running through the park. And then they said that she had to have a bodyguard run with her. So he'd have to be in shape too.
Yeah, I thought that was neat.
Aerobics was another one, which is kind of funny to us now. So we were looking up.
You know what's funny? It's not actually the aerobics that's funny. It's the outfits.
The outfits. The outfits are awesome. They're like one-piece neon green or
and the
pink,
headbands,
like the color of this mat. And they're like we wore that as clothing. So, but I suppose in 20 years someone could be laughing at what we're wearing now.
Absolutely, I'm sure they will.
Right. So that was pretty funny because that's something that she did. I think 3 times a week was aerobics of some type, some type of aerobics, and then running, and then abs was another one. So she did different ab exercises in the evening at home.
So neat, hey?
Yeah, pretty cool that we could have someone like Princess Diana doing something like that, staying fit and healthy and active, that we can look up to or aspire to now, and it's 20 years later since her passing. So we went over Princess Diana's favorite recipe. We thought we would share one of our new favorite recipes with you this week. What is it, Dorothy?
So it's a cereal. It's a pina colada cereal. No alcohol. But it's super easy to make. You just take quinoa and you boil it, and when you're cooking it, you boil it in some coconut milk instead of water.
Nice.
So the pina colada. And then you top it with some pineapples and some maple syrup. And you could throw in some nuts and seeds onto that too. So that's why it's called pina colada.
And that's it?
Yeah.
That's super easy.
Yeah.
And super delicious.
It is very delicious. Yes.
So we're going to end off the show with a quote. It's a longer one, so we'll be patient with Dorothy. But I think you got it.
All right. It goes back to putting yourself first, which we've talked about quite a bit in previous shows as well, how important it is to put yourself first. So this quote says, putting yourself first doesn't mean that you do not care about others. It means you're smart enough to know that you can't help others unless you take care of yourself first.
Nice.
Something like that.
Very
I know
close.
I know I didn't get it right, but
Very close.
it's something like that.
Yeah, but it just goes back to putting yourself first and understanding that we have to take care of ourselves. And even when we tell other people that, or like try to explain or list these quotes, it's very difficult to try to understand, like, no, I have to put my kids first, I have to put my spouse first, and then you put yourself last and you have nothing to give.
And that's one way I try to explain it, is that just think about how much more you have to give if you put yourself first. If you take that 5 minutes for a morning meditation, or if you take that 15 minutes to clear your head and go for a walk alone, think about how much more throughout the day you will have to give.
Absolutely. All right, guys, thanks for tuning in to another edition of the D&D Morning Show.
Whoa! Explosion!
What'd you, spunky?
Spunky.
Back to spunky. All right, guys, so we'll see you in the group.
We'll catch you later.